Whenever you're passing by, I'll be in my window, you know. All right, cool. All right, so you guys know all about the athlete thing, right? And how many. So now this is probably an older slide, but now we have 1,000 athletes that are connected to USANA that are taking our products. So I try and take good care of myself. As a matter of fact, even within the USANA community at corporate, I still get made fun of by the way I eat. So if you come into my office at lunchtime, I'm eating radishes and red peppers and raw vegetables for my lunch, and people just look like you're a freak. Like, can't you just relax for a minute? It's like, no. So I try to take good care of myself. My point is, if I'm doing that to myself, what do you think those guys are doing? Right? What do you think their standards are? Because this is where they make their living. You know? They get drug tested. Who knows about the $1 million guarantee? $1 million guarantee. So, man, you guys should be up here teaching me. We have never, so for those of you who don't know, what we have is a $1 million guarantee that if an athlete who has to be routinely drug tested randomly as well, they never let you know when you're going to get tested randomly as well, if you get caught with anything naughty in your urine that you shouldn't have in there, and it's directly related to the products from USANA, we will pay that athlete $1 million. All right? So, I mean, think about it. In the grand scheme of things, $1 million isn't a big deal to a company like USANA. You know what is a big deal, though? The reputation. I cannot imagine USANA taking that kind of a hit, that kind of public relations hit. So the $1 million is a nice thing, and it's a genuine thing, but the hit, the public relations hit that we would take if indeed that happened, would really be devastating to the companies. So again, we embrace these athletes. We want these athletes. We feel strongly about the relationships we form with these athletes. And we want the athletes to be successful as well. And we would like to be part of that nutritionally for those guys, right? So they recognize, they understand the quality, and they understand and trust us to be able to deliver to them a standard that nobody else does. 1,000 athletes, I mean, it's really, I mean, Olympic grade, professional, and amateur athletes. It's really amazing the degree to which these athletes have made their commitment. Oh, that's the same. Okay, so yeah, so there's an organization called WADA. It's the World Anti-Doping Association. That's the governing body that is in charge of making sure that all the athletes are compliant and they're not doing naughty bad things in order to enhance their performance. All right. So that's the institution that's in charge of monitoring and testing all of these athletes. All right, so you gotta come back tomorrow if you want to know about that. I'm not going to tell you more about that until you come back tomorrow. So we say a lot of things. You know, I think we try and we all want to feel a certain level of connectivity. We all want to feel a certain level of relevance. We all want to feel a certain level of importance. I think we all want to feel that we're making a difference. I can say that to you guys because that's why you're here. So when Dr. Wentz says something like that, this is a really, really, really good time to be part of the company. The future is really exciting, and like I said at the start, the R&D department is growing like crazy. And so there's a renewed emphasis and a financial investment that is taking place in R&D that has not existed before. We're ready to take this into the next level in a huge, huge way. And doggone it, if I have anything to say about it, I want to make sure that the products that we're going to be producing in the future have even a higher relevance and a higher impact and just really, really, honestly, changing people's lives in a dramatic way. And I think that's what Dr. Wentz is saying in that statement. The end. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I gotta put that on, right? So which one?
Yes, you can hear. Okay.
Se ve linda Natalie, la con su pelito. Y es bien mona, ¿no? Que es bien mona. ¿Y por qué a mí no? Hola. ¿Y por qué a mí no me saluda?
Sí, en parte con la voz.
Yeah.
Bueno, como yo estoy en So I think that you need to use that one. This is the microphone. Otherwise, everyone will hear you.
Okay.
¿Estás que necesitas directo una para acá? Sí. You can use that one. And I will use one for the. This is still the name.
I guess we can take some questions. And you can ask me anything you want. I may not answer it. You can ask it.
Bueno, muchas gracias. Gracias por estar aquí, gracias por toda la información y pues tengo muchas expectativas mañana en nuestra reunión. Yo tengo una pregunta que de pronto puede ser que no sé cómo hacerla muy bien. Cuando hablamos de nueva tecnología, intelligence, yo quisiera saber, o sea, para mí es como difícil entender cómo así que nueva tecnología. ¿Cómo traducimos nosotros eso para expresarle, por ejemplo, a personas que quieran consumir Usana? ¿Cómo expresaríamos de una manera no tan técnica nueva tecnología?
So, I don't really like the term technology. This has been an evolution. Let me take this off.
This is when we ask.
So, I don't like the word technology. I think that it's kind of.
You have to use some of
I'm sorry. Okay. See, this is why Dr. Wentz is kind of like, So this is really an evolution of science, is what this is. And so technology is really, it's kind kind of a marketing word. and it's I mean, technology implies a new invention, a new, a circuit or something with robotics. Or this is an evolution of science is what this is. All right? Okay. So for 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 years of nutritional science, we've been staying abreast of all of this and then taking all this knowledge that exists and then fine-tuning it to such a degree that we now know precisely what compound or what ingredient or what portion of green tea or what is the specific chemical compound in curcumin that is eliciting a certain effect in a cell, and that we can take this and then apply it into humans. So how is this compound having an effect in a human being? And so that's where our research is. So it's new in that now we have a level of knowledge that never existed before that we can now apply to our products and understand to a degree that's never been known before what it is that a particular compound is doing in the human body. So for instance, we know that green tea has good cardiovascular benefits, it has good cognitive benefits, it's good for the brain, but why? What is it? And once we can identify those constituents, we can actually perform research studies to determine what is the correct amount. What's not too little, what's not too much, and then put that into a formulation. So that's what goes into the intelligence, is now we can identify much more specifically, but even more importantly, what the dosing is. So if you notice, a lot of the ingredients in the new intelligence are really ingredients that existed in the old essentials. But what we did now is that we did our studies and we can refine the amounts, because now we can say with a lot of confidence that the amount that we use in this vitamin complex is eliciting this particular benefit. So that's really what that means now, is that we have this degree of understanding and we have this degree of scientific experimentation to support a particular amount of a particular ingredient in the cell essentials to elicit in the human body a particular benefit. So that's what that, does that make sense?
Sí, perfecto, muchas gracias.
Yes. Okay, so I would probably get shot for saying I don't like the word technology, but that's really where it's at, is our level of understanding has evolved to a much higher degree, and we can be more precise with what we're doing. And now we can say and describe the action and these really cool, interesting pathways in the human body that are being upregulated, that are being awoken, that are being supported, and eliciting this response in cognitive health or in the immune system, for instance. We'll be talking about the immune system tomorrow, so you better come tomorrow. Okay.
Muchas gracias.
Elena, un poquito primero y después Juan.
Buenos días, doctor Forman. Primero que todo, bienvenido a nuestro país. Me encanta y pues nos encanta que esté aquí. Para nosotros es de verdad un placer, un privilegio tenerlo aquí. No sabe cuánto se lo agradecemos. Lo admiro muchísimo, igual que a todos los doctores que usted ha mencionado, el doctor Tim Wood. Yo llevo 3 años con la compañía. Me identifiqué mucho con Usana porque mi papá, que está acá, tiene 81 años. Es médico cirujano cardiovascular especializado en Estados Unidos. Él nos está apoyando aquí en Usana con conferencias instructivas, porque él es como el doctor Oz. Él cree que la medicina tradicional tiene mucho que aprender, y eso es lo que el doctor Wentz nos está enseñando hace mucho. Entonces yo tengo una pregunta no sé si mi papá quiere hacer otra, pero a mí, yo cada vez que hablo de Usana en mis conferencias, en mis presentaciones, digo, somos grado farmacéutico, ¿no? Tenemos grado farmacéutico, y la industria farmacéutica, yo quiero saber cómo es la posición de la industria farmacéutica con respecto a Usana, porque sé que en Sanofi, por ejemplo, no utilizan quimioterapia, radioterapia, todo lo que mi papá sabe y muchos médicos saben que a veces logra efectos, ¿cómo se diría eso? Secundarios indeseables. Y sabemos que la industria farmacéutica hace de todos esos medicamentos un negocio. Entonces yo quisiera que usted nos explicara, para nosotros tener argumentos de hablar a la gente por qué Usana es farmacéutico, pero no realiza las mismas operaciones o los mismos procedimientos que la industria farmacéutica. Obviamente sabemos que nuestros productos son naturales, como usted lo decía, no tiene 100% pero ¿cómo sería esa posición de la industria farmacéutica frente al Dr. Wentz y Usana?
I think to a large degree we've been misled by the scientific method, and what I mean by that is that we use a reductionist Cartesian method of scientific inquiry, where in order to make discoveries, in order to define certain processes of the human body, we have to study systems in a very, 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 very small, precise way. That's not how natural ingredients work. And so this is really, to me, more of a philosophical question than a scientific one. And I may not answer your question the way that it'll help you the most, but I hope that it gives you a certain level of understanding that I think what's missing in medicine to some degree is philosophy and context. And the context of how these natural plant, and I'm referring mostly to naturally occurring herbs, medicinal herbs, and the thing green tea and curcumins and milk thistles and things like this. They're not drugs, and for us to talk about them as drugs is misleading and inappropriate, and that's not how they work. The pharmaceutical company creates a synthetic molecule that has a very, very precise mechanism of action, and it does that mechanism very, very well. But what comes with that is a lot of side effects and things that are ultimately undermine various aspects unintendedly of human health. So herbs and natural compounds work very, very softly and very, very gently, and they work on a broad range of things. So you'll see that you may find in some of Usana's products that there are common compounds. So we have green tea in more than one product. We have curcumin in more than one product. Okay? Because they do a lot of different things. And that's what makes them so complex. And that's why the pharmaceutical industry, one of the reasons why the pharmaceutical industry has no interest in evaluating natural compounds. It's too complex. They want to reduce it down. What is the active ingredient in this milk thistle? Or what is the active ingredient in curcumin? Well, I'm here to tell you, there's no magical one thing in that thing. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of compounds, all doing different things, working on different pathways that will have benefits in a multitude of different human systems. Right? So to have this conversation and trying to and see that's kind of the road, for whatever reason, that natural medicine has taken, is that they want to be more like Western medicine and the scientific inquiry and the pharmaceutical industry. We need to compete with that. No, we don't. That's not who we are. That's not what this is about. Right? It's the system. it's the system. It's how the humans have evolved with all these plant materials, or the relationship with the human body with these specific vitamins and minerals. Maybe we can have that conversation when we're talking about vitamin A or vitamin E, but then even we can't have the conversation with vitamin A or vitamin E, because vitamin E is not just alpha tocopherol. Vitamin E comes as a group of related vitamins. So when you're talking about vitamin E, you're talking about 8 molecular isomers that make up the vitamin E complex. But what the pharmaceutical did was they reduced vitamin E down to this synthetic vitamin E tocopherol acetate or succinate, and it's no longer vitamin E anymore. So why are we having this conversation? Why are we trying to explain to people that, you know, pharmaceutical this and pharmaceutical that? No, that's not the conversation. You know, and that's not what we want to do ultimately anyway. We don't want to turn anything into a drug. That's not the relationship that we have with all of these compounds. We don't want to do that. That's when you run into problems. And that's the beauty of these natural compounds. That's the beauty of them, is they're so elegant and they're so comprehensive and so many things that they do. And that's how we've evolved with them. You know, our diets now are very, very restricted now. So 1,000 years ago, we were probably eating thousands and thousands of different plants. We're all walking around in our little buffalo skins, and we're just eating, you know, after you know, many generations, we've now been able to identify that which is going to kill us, or as opposed to those which are. But at a certain point, once we have made that analysis, we're eating hundreds and thousands of different plants, all coming with these incredibly potent, magical compounds that have an effect in the human body, which we're going to talk about again tomorrow. But that's the thing. So I don't know if that answers your question, and I have a tendency to just kind of meander down weird roads, but it really is a matter, I think, of philosophy to some degree, and putting into context that I don't want to have that conversation. And if somebody comes to you with that question, it's not a valid question, because that isn't the human body, that isn't natural medicine, that's not how it works, that's not human nutrition, that's not how it works. Does that help at all?
Claro.
So ask me a follow-up question. I told you I wasn't going to answer your question.
Pero mi pregunta iba más. Sí, doctor Furman, pero mi pregunta iba más, o sea, el doctor Wentz tiene esas alianzas estratégicas con universidades, ¿cierto? Y yo lo que quiero saber es, no ha tenido ningún inconveniente el doctor Wentz por su filosofía, que la entendemos y la compartimos, con los laboratorios, con la industria farmacéutica, que es tan poderosa. Lo respetan, lo admiran, no le han hecho como, no sé cómo explicarlo.
Bullying.
No lo han atacado, porque ese es nuestro miedo, ¿no?